So a few weeks ago, I had Ian Smith from James Smith Fences in Kirkcudbright come out to the farm, and he measured up this shed behind me, which is got 10, 15-foot bays that are quite open-fronted on it. And we discussed and talked about using some Galebreaker blinds to try and stop the weather a little bit blowing in on the cattle and sheds in the winter. So Ian measured up and gave me a price for Galebreaker, and I went ahead and ordered it, and it's just arrived today. It's supposed to be a very easy job to fit it, so I am going to start now, try the first bay and see how I get on. As I am unpacking the box, I will do some photos and video and let you see how the job progresses. So the box was delivered by courier this morning. It arrived. I've got it sitting here in a digger bucket just so I can maneuver it around easy. It's quite heavy. There's 10 15 foot by 1.5 meters wide blinds in there, and I will get some out and take some photos as I'm unpacking. On the edge of each H-beam, you have to clip these plastic tubes. They're about 50 centimeters long, so I have to clip 3 onto each H-beam for each of my 1.5 meter wide blinds. They just clip on over the edge of the beam to make sure there's no rough edges to touch the Galebreaker blind once it's clipped into position. So that's number 1 up. A little bit of an education whilst doing it. Doing it by yourself is not advisable. And dropping one of the catches so that it falls down into the slats underneath me. Another stupid mistake, but I will be able to get a replacement for that. But the first one's up, it looks good. I'm putting the second one up now. I'm doing them alternately, one on the outside of the H-beam, one on the inside of the H-beam. It saves on cutting, and it also means that I can take these ones at the ends of the shed down when it comes to if I need to bring a tractor in to stir the slurry and things. Okay. Need to lay the Galebreaker out flat on a nice clean bit of ground, and then measure the straps here where you need to trim. The first one I did, I measured up whilst I was putting it up, and it was 12 inches cut I've got to do on each one. So I know now where to cut them on the ground, and if I need to do some fine adjusting when I'm putting it up, it's easy enough just to extend the cut a little bit. And then once it's all put up, I can cut away the waste material so it's not flapping away in the wind, and cut away some of the excess of the strap. As I say, my bays in this shed are 15 foot. I would say the Galebreaker is about 16 foot because it's 12 inches off each one that I'm needing to trim. I'm just marking out with a tape measure and a marking pen and cutting the one cut there, 2 on the 2 center straps, and 1 cut at the top, just so that whilst I'm up the ladder putting the ratchets on, it's a lot easier. And then once you've got a bit of tautness on it, before you give it the final couple of clicks, you can cut off all the excess. I'll put my marks there on each strap. I'm just going to get the scissors, just ordinary scissors, and cut along thread mark. I'll do that for each of the straps. So I've given this ratchet its final clicks, so it's almost at my red line that I'd marked earlier on. And then I will cut this down so that I can fold up a small amount of it tidily into the ratchet handle. And then with this excess bit of Galebreaker material, I will get the scissors and cut a neat line down the edge of the H-beam and then fold it in underneath itself. And then once I've done that, I will repeat it for the next 3 ratchets on my way down. And it should, as I tighten them, I'll pull them into the right position so all the wrinkles are out of it and it is straight. And I will show you when I'm finished because I don't have enough hands. So that's number 2 up, a much quicker effort and a much more satisfactory job now I've got into the hang of it. If you are ever fitting up Galebreakers, I recommend you fully read the instructions before you start and make sure you've got all the tools that you need and maybe have somebody else to help you. So that's 4 done now, and the job is actually getting simpler as I'm learning my way through. I've got 6 more to do. I've kind of learnt the distance to cut in on the straps, and I've come up with a wee idea so that I don't lose any more of these things down into the slats. And I'm using a tie pull or a zip tie or whatever you want to call it to zip tie it onto the ratchet to hold it into position. And then that way there's less components to carry up the ladder and drop. And it's working quite well for me so far. And here is one of the ratchets, and to fit it together you have to slide that on there like that, and all I'm doing is putting a zip tie or tie pull or whatever you call them around that, and it holds it onto the wee thing, so when I'm going up the ladder I don't drop it. So it just looks like that, and then the whole thing stays together. Quite tidily tucked in, no rough edges. The Galebreaker is nice and tight, like a trampoline. That's 7 done so far, 3 left to go. And I'm starting to get the hang of it now. So that's the last of the Galebreaker blinds put up. And whilst I was tidying up, a wee thought crossed my mind that any offcuts that you might have, it might be quite handy to keep them, just in case there's any wee holes or anything happen during the lifetime of the Galebreaker. You can use these bits, well, you can order special glue from Galebreaker and use these wee bits to glue up the holes before they tear any bigger, just in case. It's just an idea that I had. I don't know whether it would work or not, but I'm definitely going to stick them in the workshop so that they're there for the future, if I remember where the hell I put them. So that's them all up. I've just got this last blind. I've got to wait for the courier to drop off the replacement part for the bracket there that I lost down there, but that should be here tomorrow. Once that's here, I can clip it into place, and then that is them all up. This last one I've done diagonal. I've attached it on the inside of the H-beam there and on the outside here, just so because on the inside here there's electrics and Yorkshire boarding and a bracket with the beam, and I didn't want to have to cut the Galebreaker around it. So, and this will be a blind that has to come down so that I can get access in there with the vehicle. So I didn't think it would be a bad idea to make it easily accessible for the clips. So that should be nice and taut once I get the rest of the pieces tomorrow that I stupidly lost. Anyway, so here is the front all the way along. So that was the first one I put in, and I have to say by the time I'd done 3 maybe, I got into the swing of it, and the last ones were a lot easier to put up. I'm very impressed with the quality of the product. I will do some more filming once the cattle come in and to finish the video off, and maybe in the middle of the winter, after we've had a couple of stormy days, I will do a review to tell you how the Galebreaker is holding up and what the cattle how they cope and live with it. I definitely think it will be an improvement, a huge improvement for the shed. It will give the cattle more shelter. It is a very sheltered shed, but there's certain times of the year that the wind, the rain and the snow decide to come from a different direction and blow in there. So that should make it a lot more comfortable for the livestock. The shed's been up for 25 years. Hopefully the Galebreaker will last the shed for the next 20 odd years. So it's a few months since I fitted the Galebreakers on this shed. Today's date is February the 7th, 2022, and I started the video in October last year. So the blinds have been up for a few months. The cattle have been in the shed for a while. They've faced at least 3 big storms this year so far, Storm Arwen and the other ones, one just recently. And the blinds have not moved an inch. They've done really, really well. And I have noticed actually a huge improvement in animal health with them being up. The cattle are really thriving. They seem a lot warmer and drier in the shed with them. And they're not huge. They don't actually cover a huge amount of the front of the shed, but they must really make a difference.